Man, it wasn't pretty, but the Washington Commanders just beat the Atlanta Falcons 19-13. They improved to 7-5 on the season, and the Washington Commanders have won 6 out of their last 7. So we're going to recap the game in today's video. Make sure you guys subscribe, trying to get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Would really appreciate it. I know someone who's watching isn't subscribed, so please go ahead and do it. Man, that was too close. I was convinced we were going to lose that game, but the Washington Commanders defense comes in clutch and saves the day for the Washington Commanders with that goal line stand, and they get the win on the day. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't pretty. It was an ugly game, but the Washington Commanders win again the way they've been doing it, by running the football. It's not pretty, but they're getting the job done. And yeah, we're going to recap this game. Usually I kind of go offense and then defense, but I just want to talk about that last sequence. I mean, the Commanders, they just give up a bunch of... The defense was good for the most part this game. They did allow a lot in the run game, but they were good for the most part in this game. But the last drive, they kind of, allowed some big plays, a lot of runs and stuff. And then the last goal line stand, that was huge. James Smith-Williams, a huge play. He didn't end up making the play. He didn't end up making the tackle, but he was on Marcus Mariota and kind of delays him, and which allow makes some time up for I believe it was Deron Payne and someone else to make the tackle, and he lost 2 or 3 yards on the play. So instead of being, second or third down at the 2, it's, third down at the 4.5. That's huge, and that forced them to pass, which leads to the next play. Deron Payne making money plays again and again and again. Bats the pass down, and Kendall, originally I was like, man, that is an amazing play by Deron Payne, and, solid play by Kendall Fuller, catching that ball. But if you watch the replay, that was a really tough adjustment for him to make, and he makes it, perfectly. Fellow Hokie, shout out to him. That was a great play by Deron Payne, but also an amazing adjustment by Kendall Fuller. I mean, that was amazing. That was an amazing goal line stand. The defense was getting run, just getting killed in the run game this whole game. This whole game, the Atlanta Falcons were dominating in the run game. But when it counted the most, the Washington Commanders stopped them twice. One was just a normal run, and then the second one's Marcus Mariota, who was cooking us up. We could not stop him on those quarterback runs, but on that play, we could. And then the next play, Marcus Mariota cannot pass the football, and we just made a good play. Deron Payne made a good play, and Kendall Fuller made an even better play, making that catch and getting a touchback on that play. And then we get a few. I thought we handled that, fine, where we run the ball a few times. The Curtis Samuel one was a little bit scary, that run. I mean, I thought there was a little bit of a bobble there. I thought he could have fumbled that. That got me nervous, but it did take 7 seconds off the clock, and then they punched the ball, and Tressway, I mean, he doesn't really have any control over it, but hey, great job getting hit. And that sealed the game. So, I mean, that last sequence was crazy by the Washington Commanders. And, yeah, just really glad the Commanders got the win. So, let's kind of talk about the offense. Heineke, 14 for 23, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. At the end of the day, the stats, might look, he's got to be better. He's got to be better than he was today. The interception, before the half, that was awful. I don't understand what he was seeing there. There was 3. He threw it into triple coverage, and it was thrown to Jahan Dotson, who was not even close to being open, and he had two guys underneath for 5 to 10 yards, and they needed 10 to 15 yards to score a field goal at the end of the drive. That you can't do that, and the Falcons almost made a field goal at the end of the half, and that could have changed the game for sure. Because if they made that field goal, then a field goal at the end there ties it. So, that can't happen. And then he missed Terry. I believe it was in the first half, where he kind of got some pressure, and then he rolls out a little bit, and he throws it to Terry. But I don't know if he was trying to throw it away or he just misfired, because he threw it 6 yards over Terry. And Terry was open, and that's his one red zone target, of course, is the one where Taylor Heineke throws 6 yards over his head. But Taylor's got to be a little bit better in the in some of these situations. Also, I don't think it's his fault, but like he's not running the ball at all, and I think that's Turner and Rivera telling him not to because of injuries. But there's ways to run without getting hurt. There's you can slide, and maybe they just don't trust Heineke to do that. But there's been multiple times where he could have ran and he hasn't. He had one rush this game, and it was a kneel down for -1 yards. Last year, and especially in that Tampa game in 2020, he was running a lot more than he is now. So I don't know. I think that's maybe. I think it's more the coaches, but I think there's opportunities there for him to run. But you know what it is? What at the end of the day, the Commanders keep winning with Taylor Heineke. 6 out of the last 7 with Heineke, and you can't make a change. You can't make a change until he's the reason you're losing games. And he was definitely not a reason they won the game today. But he had a couple good throws. The throw to John Bates was a good throw. I mean, the other touchdown really wasn't him. That was just a great play by Brian Robinson. But Heineke did enough, I guess, to get the Commanders a win today. But he's got to be better in certain situations for sure. Brian Robinson, MVP of the day, both sides of the ball. He was the best player today. 18 carries, 105 yards, 5.8 yards per carry, a 21-yard run, and the yards per carry could honestly be more because a lot of those were short yardage where he's running on 2nd and 1, 3rd and 1, whatever. Great game by Brian Robinson. I mean, this is the Brian Robinson we saw in the preseason and training camp. And it's taken a while for us to get Brian Robinson that we thought we were going to get, but it's starting to happen, and that's totally understandable with what happened with him, 8 weeks ago or whatever. Like, it's totally understandable that it would take him a little bit of while to get going, but he looks like he's legit. He's a legit running back. He had a very good game today, over 100 yards rushing. Also had, 1 or 2 catches? Let's see, 2 catches for 21 yards. And a touchdown, trucks a guy, and he trucked a lot of guys today, move him to the side. He did what he had to do. He had a great game today. Gibson was fine, 9 carries, 32 yards, 3.6 yards per carry, had a 10-yard run, and he also had 3 catches for 22 yards. So not Gibson's best day, but solid. Jonathan Williams, he had some good runs as well. 4 carries, 22 yards, averaged 5.5 yards per carry, had a couple 9-yard runs, I believe. Or at least 1 9-yard run. He was very good in this game, and good to see him get some carries because he usually doesn't get some carries, and it's just good to see that. Curtis Samuel, 13 yards. Again, that last one, I got a little bit nervous there, but he got some solid runs, and then Terry McLaurin had a 5-yard rush as well. So they had 37 rushes for 176 yards, 4.8 yards per carry. That's how they're winning games, and that's the reason, guys. They're not blowing besides the. Not Lions, the Texans, they're not blowing these teams out, and they're not scoring a bunch of points because with the way they're playing, just running the ball a ton, it's hard to do that. It's hard to score a ton of points because your drives are super long, and if you're gonna score a lot of points running the football, you have to convert in the red zone, and they haven't really necessarily done that. Receiving wise, Terry, 4 catches, 48 yards, had 45 yards in the first half. And then 3 in the second, but that 3-yard catch was a 3rd or 4th down conversion, so it's big for him. Not a huge day for him, but solid. And I'm still mad because I've been this whole week I was talking about how they need to target Terry more in the red zone, and I mean I guess they kind of do. And then he's wide open, of course, because he's Terry, and Heineke misses him, and then so. Unfortunate there. John Bates, big game for John Bates. 3 catches, 24 yards. Had that touchdown, 16-yard touchdown, and that was on 4 targets. He had a good day. Kind of been a quiet year for him in terms of pass catching, and he had a couple big catches for sure. Talked about Gibson, talked about Robinson. De'Ami Brown, he's not getting a ton of targets. He got 1 target in this game, but that catch was huge. That was a 17-yard catch, and that wasn't an easy catch. It wasn't a great throw by Heineke. It was a great catch by De'Ami Brown, and I think he deserves some credit for that. And, they should continue to use him a little bit, a couple times a game for sure. And then Cole Turner got targeted, and I think it hit his hands. I don't know. I can't remember, for sure if he should have caught that or not. But, the offense wasn't great today. But, again, they're great running the football. Passing-wise, they got to be better. Heineke's got to be a little bit better. And honestly, one thing, Jahan Dotson, man, ever since he came back from the injury, he's been very quiet. And I'm sure a little bit of that is Heineke. They don't have as much chemistry as Heineke or as Jahan Dotson and Wentz did, but still, I mean, no targets in this game. It was really a non-factor. But honestly, if you look at it, there was not many guys that were factors. McLaurin was a factor. John Bates was a factor. And that's really it. Out of the receiving, the receivers / tight ends, those are the only guys that were really factors. Gibson and Robinson are running backs, and then De'Ami Brown had 1 target. So, Curtis Samuel didn't have a single target in this game. Receivers got targeted, 6-7 times in this game. Like, that's an insane stat. Honestly, I'm probably going to post that. Receivers only got 7 targets in this game. That's actually crazy. But what they're doing is working, and they got to continue to do it. 19 points isn't enough to win a lot of games, but it is in this game. So, defense stepped up. They were great in this game. 11 tackles for Derek Force. He got beat a couple of times, but his tackles were good. He missed 1 tackle in this game, but besides that, he was consistently making tough catches. He kind of suplexed that. I think, it was Marcus Mariota, and they didn't call it. I don't know. It wasn't as aggressive as John Ridgway's play, but I thought, it probably could have been flagged there. But great play by him, and just good job. Good job overall with his tackles. Only thing, I don't really care that much. I don't think it's a big deal, but I'm not a huge fan of him celebrating. Marcus Mariota got a 15, 20-yard run on 3rd down, and then Derek Force had a great tackle, but, he got the first down. You don't need to celebrate. But besides that, Derek Force had a good game. He's a great player, great guy, and huge fan of him. Jamin Davis had a solid day. He had a couple really good plays early on in the game. In the run game, missed a couple of tackles as well, but that's going to, or at least missed one that I remember. But that's going to happen with a lot of players. He had a good game. Cam Curl, like usual, didn't really hear his name much in terms of in coverage, which is good, and then had 8 tackles, and he was good in the run game. Deron Payne, probably MVP of the defense today. 6 tackles, 3 solo tackles, 2 TFLs, had that batted pass that saved the game for us. That saved the game. That saved the game, so he deserves his props. Jonathan Allen was solid. 5 tackles, 3 solo, had a QB hit, and kind of almost forced that fumble on Marcus Mariota. Was close to getting a sack. Montez Sweat, he's got what? He's got a lot of sacks. 4 sacks in the last 3 games. Had 4 tackles, 2 solo, 1 sack, 2 TFLs, and 2 QB hits. So he's putting up the numbers. Ridgway looked all right. Bostic, didn't really hear his name much, so that's fine. But I think we were, you could really see how we were missing Cole Holcomb in this game, in the run game. He would have been much better than John Bostic and David Mayo in the run game. So that's one place where we miss him in the run game. We miss him in the run game. So hopefully he can come off IR. Bob McCain was solid. Kendall Fuller, that interception was huge. Really good for the most part. Only one knock on him is that play where the receiver from UVA, forgot his name, kind of dove to catch the ball and he dropped it. I thought McLaurin just kind of gave up on the play and he kind of just stopped, and that could have been bad there. Besides that, huge game. Didn't really allow many receptions and had that huge play at the end of the game. Back-to-back weeks with interceptions. Bob McCain was solid. Christian Holmes, I think he deserves, besides the face mask, I think he gets a hat tip or something just for having, coming in his first, he only had 6 defensive snaps this whole year. He starts a game and was okay. He was solid. I don't really remember him getting beat that much. And again, it is the Atlanta Falcons and Marcus Mariota, who does not pass the ball well and does not pass the ball much, but still had a good game. And then James Smith-Williams comes in clutch with that, pressure on Mariota kind of contain at the end there. He contains him a little bit for the rest of the guys to get a tackle. We talked about the Kendall Fuller interception. Gibson had a nice return. And then Joey Sly made the 2 kicks, but you got to make that extra point. That really, really could have killed them at the end of the game. And Tressway had a good game as well. So Commanders survived another game, and they were pretty injury-riddled in this, coming into this game. Dax Milne out. They survived without him. Alex Erickson just fair caught the ball every time. Cole Holcomb out. Benjamin St. Juste out. And Chase Young still out. Honestly, until he's back on the field, I'm not going to believe it, because every week, the last 3 weeks, I thought he was going to play, and he didn't. So until it's official that he's playing, or until I actually see him on the field, or he's active for Sunday next week or after the bye, I'm not believing it, because the reporting every week's been iffy. But it is what it is. He'll come back when he has to come back and add to this already great defense. I'll say great defense. Even though they got killed in the run game today, they did enough to win the game. And yeah, shout out to the Commanders. 7-5, and now going into the New York Giants. I mean, they got to win at least one of the two, but if they can win 2 out of the 2, they're basically in the playoffs. So that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed tomorrow's Victory Monday. Let's enjoy that. Peace.